bill, and then when that failed, a less bad bill. That second sub-amendment of ours was, by definition, a compromise. We did everything that we could do on this side of the House to try and make this thing work in the public interest. It still does not work in the public interest, in our opinion, and therefore we are advocating that the bill be hoisted, and that is the intent of this amendment. Now, Mr. Speaker, my understanding is that we, from this point on, will be debating the amendment, and I'm sure that there are others in the House who would like to get on the record about this. I think I'm clearly on the record, as are many others in this House, in terms of our opposition to the bill, and so I don't feel that I need to say anything more about this. I'll turn it over now to my colleagues on all sides of the House to speak for or against the amendment. Thank you.
Honourable members, the process is pretty straightforward. There will be no 29-2A applied to the Honourable Member of Calgary-Currie. He's the second person who's spoken, but 29-2A will apply to speakers now beginning. And secondly, the process is all members may participate in this amendment, and once all members have participated, the question will be called. And if the question is carried, if the amendment is in the affirmative, then that's the end of the matter. The bill disappears from the order paper. If defeated, then the question is immediately put in the motion for third reading. So, who would like to participate further? The Honourable Minister of Advanced Education and Technology, followed by the Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition. Please proceed.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker. And I'm going to speak in opposition to this amendment because I have been following the debates in the House very closely. I've been listening to constituents' concerns who've come to my office and sent me emails on what they thought Bill 50 was. I've heard about, why are you stopping the public process of where we're going to put power lines? Bill 50 has nothing to do with that, Mr. Speaker. There's been a lot of debate, as the Honourable Member said. There's been extensive debate in this House on Bill 50. And when Albertans turn on their taps for water, they want good, clean water. They want to make sure that it's there. They want us to plan ahead to put the infrastructure in place so that when they turn those taps on, they have healthy, clean, good water. When Albertans are stuck in traffic and they're trying to figure out how they're going to get to work on time, or they're trying to get to where their loved ones might be on time, they expect us to plan ahead so that that doesn't happen. They expect us to figure out that there's going to be a need for future infrastructure, and they expect us to make it happen, Mr. Speaker. And when Albertans go to turn the light switch on, they expect the power to be there. They expect the light to go on. And, Mr. Speaker, they expect us to plan ahead to say we're going to need transmission or we're not going to need transmission. They expect us to hire the experts that know what the load is going to be on the system. They expect us to hire the experts to give us good advice, and that's what the Alberta Utilities Commission is all about. They do want to have a say, Mr. Speaker, in where those lines are going to be located, totally separate to what Bill 50 is all about. They also, Mr. Speaker, want us to ensure that there's going to be an open and fair tendering process to build that infrastructure, and under the regulated electrical system, that's important. And Bill 50 is going to allow us to do that. The Edmonton Chamber of Commerce, Mr. Speaker, has recently endorsed Bill 50, and I think that's an important step, and it shows the economic concerns of the capital region should be addressed by this as well. So, Mr. Speaker, whether the honourable member believes that this is an important piece of legislation or not is his opinion. But by introducing an amendment to effectively hoist the bill and kill the bill, I believe that's the wrong thing to do, Mr. Speaker. I believe that the debate in this House has clearly pointed to the need for this legislation, and as such, I am 100% in favour of us moving forward with the legislation, and therefore opposed to the amendment, and would encourage all honourable members to defeat this amendment so that we can proceed with what Albertans need. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, for allowing me some time to put it out on the record.
Standing orders 29-2A are available. Seeing none, the next speaker, the Honourable Leader of the Official Opposition.
Well, thanks very much, Mr. Speaker. I rise to speak to the amendment to Bill 50. Electric Statutes Amendment Act 2009. I don't think there's any question about the need for more infrastructure. The question is the process for establishing that infrastructure. I won't belabor the fact Albertans are concerned that we're subverting a process that was established as little as 18 months ago to determine need and other elements of public consultation, including science and advisory input. This is major. I think all we're suggesting is in the interests of good governance, bringing power to the people in both a literal sense and a figurative sense, that we both rethink this, both sides rethink this, and in the interests of long-term stability and long-term, I think, public trust, that we postpone this decision because of the widespread concerns and indeed opposition to this reversion to a cabinet decision, rather than having the very utility that we decided would be the regulator in this particular area of our development be directly involved. This really undermines, in many people's eyes, including my own, that this government has the long-term best interests of Albertans. If they set up a commission to do this and then in the next instant take that power away on a particularly important set of infrastructure. So I'm simply appealing to the common sense of the legislature. We lose nothing by postponing it. We can bring it back again in the new year, and given an opportunity to reassess both the process and the public concerns about it, do it better. Thanks, Mr. Speaker.
29-2A are available. And members wish to speak. The honourable member for Calgary-Buffalo.
Well, thank you, Mr. Speaker, and it is a privilege to speak in favor of the amendment proposed by my honourable colleague from Calgary-Currie, and I've taken part in I believe all stages of the debate. I've actually prior to coming into this House for this sitting listened to many individuals, some arguing that Bill 50 or this critical infrastructure is necessary, some arguing that no, it's not necessary, others saying they were unsure. And some of these people on both sides of the argument are all very qualified. Mr. Gary Holden from MX, qualifications are pretty decent in this regard. He's run a fairly successful company in his own right. He has some ideas on how the electrical system could best run over the next 40 to 50 years. And let's face it, he put his neck fairly squarely on the line in taking on a government that has a lot of power and a lot of influence in this process. And I believe he did that because he thought Bill 50 was flawed. I also heard from some other people, the people from AltaLink and some other individuals also, Mr. Steve Snyder, very smart individuals who say that no, Bill 50 is the right way to go. It's necessary that we do all this stuff for various reasons. And I've also kept apprised of the two university professors who have put together that university paper that appeared to me to be relatively clear, relatively concise, and contains some decent arguments why we don't need Bill 50. I guess basically what I'm saying is we got a lot of experts on this situation, and here's what I've learned from this process. I've learned that I, as a politician sitting here in the Legislative Assembly, am not an expert on electrical transmission. Well, I thank the honourable member for agreeing with me on that statement.
First time.
However, I look around this House, I don't see too many experts on electrical grid transmission, how much is going to be. Thank you again, honourable member, for agreeing with me. And more importantly, I don't see too many on the front bench. And I know the Premier is not an expert on on transmission lines and